Today we are working on a spinal decompression. It sounds a little dangerous, but I'll walk you through it. The way we are going to get at this spinal decompression is using a method called ELDOA, which was founded by a French osteopath. His name is Guy VOYER, and you have to spell his last name in all capitals because that is just the way he rolls. So ELDOA, what is it? What does it stand for? It's a French acronym, thus Guy VOYER being French, and it stands for, I feel like I should have a little mustache or a scarf or a beret, but I'm gonna do my best. So it stands for étirement longitudinaux décoaptation osteoarticulaire. So en français, that is what ELDOA means. In English, it translates more into the acronym LOADS, which stands for longitudinal, so this way, osteoarticular, between bony segments, decoaptation, or I think of it as a decompression. So what we're trying to do is use our body control to lengthen our spine, to decompress some of those segments, which feels really counterintuitive and kind of one of those things like, can you actually do that? But once you get out of it, and you'll feel the results if you try it, and it's kind of a weird thing. When I do this at training camps, when we finish, people are like, whoa, like, that was weird, you know, so it's a little hard to describe, but we're gonna just improve our mechanics for starters. So even just using our muscles to find sort of that neutral tall posture by decompressing between spinal segments, it increases our range of motion, definitely increases our body awareness, stacks us in a good position for using our breath to get into our lungs and into our belly. So we use it a lot for postural awareness, postural resetting. I use it a ton in restorative modules for goalies that I work with to use when they come off the ice. But let's head down to the lab now. I'm going to share with you two techniques that I most commonly use with the goalies I train. Let's go. The ELDOA movement that we're going to start with is the T8-T9, and that refers to the 8th and 9th vertebra of the thoracic spine. It's really important for us to work on mobility in this region because those vertebrae are designed to give us lots and lots of rotation, but because of the way we sit and where we play, it can get really stiff. And then when we don't have rotation there, we steal it from our low back. So we're going to start off just sitting, feet on the floor, and I'm going to just kind of rock off my sit bones and onto my sit bones. So I'm just kind of slouching back, pulling myself up, so I can really feel when I'm on my sit bones nice and tall. Then I'm going to get my knees to about 90 degrees, and I can hold on to my knees here and sort of pull myself into a nice tall position. From here, I want to think about lengthening out the top of my head. I'm going to tuck my chin in a little bit. I don't want to be out in front. Next, I'm going to kind of press my arches towards the floor, but without bringing my knees in together. So my knees are going to stay in this alignment, but I'm pressing my arches towards the floor. From here, I'm going to take my arms straight out in front of me with my palms up. And with my eyes, I'm going to look down sort of at my cheekbones. So my palms are up. Now I'm extending my wrists and spreading my fingers. And I'm trying to extend my wrists and spread my fingers as much as I can. So I'm really working at it, but I'm keeping my breath nice and relaxed as I go. So I'm tall. I'm constantly trying to make myself as tall as I can from my tailbone to the top of my head, keeping my chin tucked, pressing through my arches. And now I'm taking my arms up overhead. Just nice, relaxed breathing, constantly reaching, trying to get those arms up as high as I possibly can, constantly extending my wrists, reaching with my fingers, breathing, getting tall. And I'm going to go through that motion, constantly reaching for about 60 seconds to start with. When I finish my 60 seconds, I'm going to start by releasing my arms, my legs, my spine, and then my eyes. So that's movement number one. Movement number two is one that I put in basically every restorative module that I design because I think it's so great at just taking strain off our back, getting some breath involved, bringing our nervous system down more into that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and restore rather than the fight or flight nervous system. And it looks like this. And it is the L5-S1 pattern. We have to get right beside the wall to do this one. So you'll sit right beside the wall and then kind of bring your legs up the wall like that. Now, if this is too much stress on your hamstrings or too much stretch on your hamstrings, move your bum away from the wall a little bit. So when I get in this position, I want to really reach my heels up as high as I can along the wall. My legs are straight. I'm reaching through my heels. I'm feeling that the base of my sacrum is really grounded, so I'm not tilting my pelvis up. It's grounded. Then from that base of my sacrum out the top of my head, I'm making that as long as I possibly can. My toes are a little bit pointed towards one another, but I'm not having them touch. And I'm even thinking with my knees of kind of resisting that and gently pulling my knees out a little wee bit. Then again, we're going to reach with our arms. We're going to turn our palms up, extended our wrists, spread our fingers. Make sure we keep that contact from the base of our sacrum out tall through the top of our head, reaching through our heels as we let our arms float overhead, but constantly pressing through the heels of our hands. Coming overhead, nice deep breaths, but not stress breathing as we go. Reaching through the arms, reaching through the heels. Long through the torso. And again, you'll hold that position for about 60 seconds, or really, I should say you'll work that position for about 60 seconds because you're constantly trying to get more reach, more length, spreading your fingers more, and keeping that nice, deep, regular breath. And then when you come out of it, again, you'll release your arms first, then your legs, then your torso. And then you'll just kind of take a minute to sit up. And it's really hard to describe, what you feel, but you do feel somehow a little lighter, like there's less internal resistance to your movements. These techniques are really very subtle, but really important. So the best thing to do is to give them a try, and to give them a try a couple of times. So don't just do it once and be like, bah, I didn't feel anything. But really kind of make a snapshot. Hey, how do I feel just walking back and forth before I do this technique? And how do I feel after doing this technique? Or bending down and touching my toes, or going into a squat. Try a couple patterns that kind of feel a bit stiff to you before, and then do the technique, and then do a retest and decide for yourself. But essentially, we're trying to improve your range of motion, decrease your risk of injury by creating space and better movement within the segments of your spine, improving your performance by giving you mobility where you're supposed to have mobility, so you can use that on the ice in particular, when the puck's behind the net and you need to get that thoracic spine rotation. And this deliberate focus on positioning, posture, what muscles, you can use to create that length really improves your postural awareness in general and your body control in general. So if you found this interesting or just like, well, that's really weird, give it a thumbs up, give the techniques a try, and then drop a comment below and let me know how it felt for you. And then pop on back in a week or two. I'm going to do same type of thing, but looking at some exercises from the Postural Restoration Institute. I will see you then. Same bad time, same bad channel. Love you guys.